Hi guys, what's up, what's down, what's sideways? James here for Chronic Fatigue Syndrome, my friend, my enemy, my constant companion, day 72. Today, I thought I'd talk about food. Yes, food. The thing that we need, but sometimes don't have the best response to. Or, uh, it's too hard to, um, let me start it again. Food. um, So food's important and food can be tasty, but there are times when the idea of food is just so far removed from where the mind is at or what the body signals are. The that food can be kind of a challenge. I'm hungry, but what do I eat? I feel like ice cream, but that's not really a nutritious meal that's going to help fuel my body in a good way. It might spike my energy and sugar levels, but I will drop hard and it's not going to help me build my body. So now I've got to think about something that's going to be nutritionally sound. And having chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia syndrome, you hear a lot of different, there's a lot of food suggestions like, you should go on a blah diet, you should suck on a pig's ear every 3 hours, you should only have bone broth and suck the marrow from it. You should not eat meat and only eat fish. Skip vegetables and fruit and just eat fish. You should only eat vegetables. Don't eat anything else. You should only eat meat and a small amount of vegetables. You know, by the way, you can have this magic spice drink that has 52 different spices that are going to help you out. Or you should also add this tea, which you should drink 2 liters of every day. Or you should, or you should, or you should. And like, crikey. That is a lot. So, there are some really good guidelines, but they're not particular to chronic fatigue syndrome. If you tell someone with chronic fatigue syndrome, have a diet that, by the way, when I say diet, I don't mean like a Jenny Craig eating program. I mean like the foods that you eat is the diet, your diet of food. If they say like have a low, have a diet that's low in processed food, saturated fats, and sugar, and you'll feel better. Like, yes, a normal person will feel better on that, not just someone with chronic fatigue syndrome or fibromyalgia syndrome. I have had people, I have had the experience of having a meat diet is really necessary. Personally, having a meat diet was really necessary at one point because of where I was at. Because I wasn't eating I wasn't eating much, if anything at all, and so meat was just higher in the kilojoules, calories. So because I wasn't eating very much, I had to, like, whatever I ate had to be as high energy as possible to fuel my body. But and then there was a stage where I was eating like meat 2 or 3 times a day to try and right my body. But that being said, I actually prefer, this is all me personally. I'm not saying go and try this. I'm just sharing food, the adventures of food. And then I actually prefer not having a meat diet, or if I'm gonna have meat, maybe once a week, or not. I don't. I do not feel. I feel better without meat in my diet, and I don't have the emotional hang up with meat. Like, I've got to have my meat. You just can't feel your body being a vegetarian. Rah, rah, rah. Like, not true. And I don't have the emotional attachment to meat. I have maybe an emotional attachment to a few meat dishes from my childhood, from nice memories, but I'm not going to go out and like, I must have those every day, every week, every month, or even a year. So food becomes very personal. So I personally will stay away from meat if I can. I won't ever go hungry though. That I made a promise to myself that I won't go hungry. So if I'm out and about and the only thing I can get my hands on is something that's got meat in it, as long as it's not organ or pork generally, I will eat it because I won't go hungry. Because going hungry for me could actually be worse than the extra work that my body has to put in for processing the meat. So meat's harder to process, so if I have less meat, my body's got to do less work, so I'm going to feel better because less of my energy is being diverted to that. But this is for a normal person as well. Your body requires a lot more energy to deal with the meat. So when people are going like, oh, you got chronic fatigue syndrome, you should do blah. Well, it's like normally, like a normal body has these considerations as well. It's just people, the visible or the feeling damage isn't so obvious when you're a normal person as when you've got chronic fatigue syndrome. Like if I have something that doesn't agree with me, my body's like, by the way, this did not agree with you. And you're like, not adding that. So normal health things are really good for people with chronic fatigue syndrome. But that being said, when you've got chronic fatigue syndrome, you do need to find out what foods click with your body that provide you with the energy that you need, and then don't make you feel worse. Personally, I found the least processed as, least processed as possible. So there are veggies, there's some protein, there's everything together. Doesn't mean I don't eat some processed foods, but they're not a main staple of my diet. And then other things. So if you pasta might not have a good response to you, so it might like burn out your energy. So don't eat pasta. So one of the hardest things there's 2 or 3 hardest things. One of the 2 or 3 hardest things is one, not having the emotional attachment to a food group and being able to let it go. You know, like, oh, I really love my cake. Dude, you get wrecked after you have your cake. Dude, you get wrecked after you've had that third slice of, like, that one slice of pavlova. Okay, so not having the emotional attachment to that food is really important. You need to be able to let it go. Like, if I eat this, how do I feel afterwards? I don't feel good. Don't eat it. You know, if you know you're not going to feel good afterwards, don't eat it. It's that simple. You know, you don't need to add to your woes. But the other thing with chronic fatigue syndrome is, like, once you find out what foods are good for you, the whole deciding what to eat at one time can be, personally, it's a pain in the head. Sometimes it's just easy for me, like, I'll eat whatever you pick, because I can't pick right now. You have no idea. I know the kind of foods you're likely to pick. I'll be fine. Okay? If you're going to pick one of these 3 selections, that's fine. I'll have whatever. It's like the idea of me picking is just, I can't. So you pick, I'll be happy with that. That's when I'm feeling quite down. Now, there are times when you need to eat, but you don't feel like eating. Like you're hungry, but you don't feel well. So it's that kind of like mixed signals. So a way around that is when you do feel like eating, and you do have the energy to cook a batch up of whatever that food is, and then freeze it. And then you've just got to thaw and reheat it up. So the cook time is, so your actual expenditure of energy is lessened once again, and then from there you can, you can put that food in, and you can get even more specific. You can have like this is a portion that I feel good, like on a day I feel good, this is a portion I can eat, and when I'm not feeling good and I can't physically consume that size portion, halve it. Better that you put half that amount in and give your body something to run off than not. Because as I've pointed out before, you still have a human body. You still require hydration, you still require movement, and you still require nutrition. So putting something in will be better than nothing. Because like if you're hungry and you haven't eaten for a while, or you've gone past that hunger stage, then then you really need to put something into your body so it's got something to go off. So you don't end up eating your body, which is not fun. Been there, don't ever want to go back to it. Which is another reason why I said if I ever get hungry, I won't go hungry. I'll eat. If there's food there, I'll eat it. So to sum this up, find foods that suit you, but make them as nutritionally good for you as possible. Yeah, you might feel like a Big Mac from Mickey D's when you're feeling really sick, which is a weird feeling. However, that's not nutritionally viable option ongoing. One off once a month, meh. But not something you'd have every day. Idea. There's no nutritional value. So find foods that suit you and have a good nutritional value. Whether or not you're going to be omnivorous or vegetarian or whatever the one is where you don't where you eat fish and vegetarian, vegetables, stuff like that. And when you do feel like eating and with the energy to cook, make some meals up. Make portions for good days and make portions for not the best days. And then you've got something there, you can freeze it and then you can thaw it. You can have it in the fridge. It cuts down on your cooking time. Or if you don't physically have the energy to do it, but you've got someone in the house to do it, it's already done for them. So it's not, you're just asking them to heat up something, which is also going to be emotionally less, like, oh, I don't want to be a pain. Can you cook me food? It's like, hey, can you just heat that up for me? Thank you so much. Okay. And yeah, people might say like, microwaves are evil. Well, you can defrost it and then cook it on the stove, or you can use the microwave and accept their evilness, because getting something into you is still better than nothing. Okay. From that I could expect a lot of anti-microwave people. So yeah, look after yourself, guys, and find the food. You need food. We're still a human being. You need your hydration, you need nutrition, and you need movement. It doesn't matter if you've got chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia syndrome, or not. Those are the three things that are required from the human being, the human machine. Okay, so thank you very much for letting me share about food. I kind of covered a few topics. I might break them off for other times and expand on them. If you've got any questions, fire away, introduce yourself, like, share, and subscribe, hit the notification button, and thank you very much for letting me share with you day 72 food.